When you talk about reggae, you talk about giants, people who lived their music. Bob Marley is a household name, but right beside him stood Peter Tosh, the steppin' raiser. Tosh was more than a musician. He was a force of nature, sharp and unyielding. He didn't sugarcoat his words or try to make you comfortable. He wanted to wake you up. His music was a call to action, demanding equal rights and justice. Peter Tosh walked a path of courage, often alone, but always true to himself. He rose from poverty to become a global icon and a symbol of resistance. Tosh used his fame to challenge powerful systems, speaking out against apartheid and championing the legalization of marijuana as a spiritual right. His faith as a Rasta informed every note and every word. He was complex, brilliant, and uncompromising, a revolutionary, not just a musician. Tosh carried his convictions with pride, never buckling under pressure. His story reminds us that one passionate voice can shake the world. Peter Tosh wasn't just in the business of music, he was in the business of liberation. His legacy is one of raw talent, fierce independence, and unbreakable spirit. He was and remains a true original. The Steppin' Razor's fire still burns. This is his story. Peter Tosh was born Winston Hubert McIntosh in Grange Hill, Westmoreland, Jamaica, October 19, 1944. Raised by his aunt, he learned resilience early. Life was tough, and he was on his own. Before music, he knew the rhythms of the land and the struggles of his people. Tosh taught himself guitar by watching others, pure raw talent with no formal training. That self-reliance defined him. He never waited for permission. As a teen, he moved to Trenchtown in Kingston, a place alive with music and hardship. Trenchtown was a crucible where reggae was being born and creativity thrived. Tosh brought his country fire and independence, standing out in the crowd. In Trenchtown, he found his tribe, young men with the same hunger for music and change. This is where his destiny shifted forever. He never forgot his roots. His rural upbringing grounded his music and message. Tosh became the voice of the overlooked, the country boy in the big city. His journey from Westmoreland to Trenchtown was the first step toward global stardom. The foundation of his music was always the struggle and dignity of the common people. From the fields to the city streets, Tosh's story was just beginning. The fire that started in the countryside would soon ignite the world. In Trenchtown, Peter Tosh met Bob Marley and Bunny Wailer. Together they formed the Wailers, a brotherhood united by music and a mission. Their harmonies and songs like Simmer Down became the voice of Jamaica's youth. Mentored by Joe Higgs and working with producer Coxsone Dodd, they honed their craft at Studio One. As ska evolved into reggae, their message deepened, embracing Rastafarian faith and social justice. Tosh was the militant heart of the group, writing songs that challenged the system. He wasn't just a background player, he was a creative force and the group's conscience. The Wailers toured the world, but fame brought tension. Tosh refused to be overshadowed. He had his own message to deliver. In 1974, after a legendary run, Tosh and Bunny Wailer left to pursue solo paths. The Brotherhood had changed the world, but Tosh was ready to step into his own light. He was no longer content to be in the background. The next chapter would be his alone. The Steppin' Razor was ready to cut his own path. Leaving the Wailers was a risk, but Peter Tosh was never afraid of risk. In 1976, he released Legalize It, an album that was both a musical and political statement. The title track, with Tosh standing in a ganja field, was a bold demand for marijuana legalization. His solo music was harder, more militant, and uncompromising. Tosh became the mystic man, the bush doctor, a spiritual warrior with a guitar shaped like an M16. He challenged audiences, using music as a weapon for change. His second album, Equal Rights, became an anthem for the oppressed worldwide. I don't want no peace. I need equal rights and justice. Tosh's words resonated far beyond Jamaica. He established himself as a global human rights activist, not just a reggae star. With his band Word, Sound, and Power, Tosh created a raw, energetic sound. He toured the world, headlining shows and growing his legend. No longer in anyone's shadow, Tosh's voice was undeniable. He proved the world needed to hear him, on his own terms. The Steppin' Razor was just getting started. His solo journey was a breakthrough, both musically and politically. Tosh's fire burned brighter than ever. He was now a force the world could not ignore. Peter Tosh was a messenger, not just a singer. Activism was at the core of his music. His stage was a pulpit, his guitar a tool for change. He fought for marijuana legalization as a spiritual and political right, defying laws and lighting up on stage in acts of civil disobedience. Legalize. It was more than a song. It was a manifesto. Tosh's activism extended to global issues. He fiercely opposed apartheid in South Africa, writing songs like Apartheid and Fight On. He used his platform to spotlight injustice long before it was popular. For Tosh, injustice anywhere was a threat everywhere. At the 1978 One Love Peace concert, he denounced political corruption and police brutality in front of Jamaica's leaders, risking everything. He paid a heavy price, arrested and beaten by police, but never silenced. Each attempt to quiet him only fueled his resolve. Tosh was a true rebel with a cause, willing to suffer for his beliefs. His activism was fearless, his message unwavering. He stood for equal rights, justice, and freedom, no matter the cost. Tosh's music and actions inspired a generation to stand up. He was the voice of the voiceless, and he never backed down. Peter Tosh understood the power of collaboration. His partnership with Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones label brought reggae to new audiences. Their duet, You Gotta Walk, Don't Look Back, became an international hit, introducing Tosh to millions. He appeared on Saturday Night Live and toured massive stadiums, never diluting his message. Tosh's band, Word, Sound, and Power, featured reggae legends like Sly Dunbar and Robbie Shakespeare. These collaborations weren't just about hits. They were about spreading the Rasta message and reggae's power. Tosh built bridges between genres and cultures, becoming a global icon. He brought his truth to the world stage, uncompromising and bold. The Bush Doctor's reach was now worldwide. Peter Tosh's solo albums are timeless chapters in the fight for justice. Equal Rights is his masterpiece. Every track a protest, a call to arms. Songs like Down Presser Man and Get Up Stand Up demand justice, not comfort. In 1987, he released No Nuclear War, confronting global threats and calling for peace. Tosh connected local struggles to global oppression, always speaking truth to power. The album won a Grammy, finally earning him mainstream recognition. His voice remained fiery and urgent, a prophet for the oppressed. Tosh's music was polished, but his message was raw and real. From demanding justice for his people to peace for the world, his vision never wavered. His albums are essential listening for anyone seeking truth. Tosh's legacy is a voice that still rings out, uncompromising and bold. He was and is a voice for the ages. Peter Tosh's story ended in tragedy. In 1987, just after winning a Grammy, he was killed during a violent robbery at his home. The attack was led by a man Tosh had once tried to help. Held hostage for hours, Tosh refused to give in, remaining defiant to the end. The gunman opened fire, killing Tosh and others, sending shockwaves through the music world. He was only 42. The aftermath was filled with grief and unanswered questions. Was it a robbery or something more sinister? Some believe it was a political hit, given Tosh's militant activism and powerful enemies. The truth may never be fully known. What's certain is that the world lost a courageous, uncompromising voice. Tosh survived police beatings and government threats, but was killed by someone he tried to help. His death was senseless, but his spirit endures. The Steppen razor was gone, but his message could not be silenced. His legacy would only grow stronger. Peter Tosh's legacy is measured not in wealth, but in courage and impact. He left behind more than music. He left a blueprint for resistance and truth. His influence echoes in every artist who uses music to challenge injustice. Tosh proved you could fight for change without selling out. He was a role model for conscious, political music worldwide. His generosity and activism extended beyond the stage, helping his community and supporting causes he believed in. Tosh's family, including his son Andrew, continues his mission. His voice still calls us to get up, stand up for our rights. The Steppen razor remains a sharp reminder to fight for justice. One person can speak truth to power and change the world. Peter Tosh's fire will never fade, ever. As we close the legendary journey of Peter Tosh, his music and message continue to inspire generations. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of a reggae icon's life. If you enjoyed this documentary, please like, share, and subscribe for more stories of music legends. Stay tuned for more and keep the spirit of reggae alive.